At least 8 people died after a fire ripped through an elderly apartment complex in a small town in Canada's Quebec province, Police Lieutenant Guy Lapointe said Friday. Approximately 30 people are still missing in the wake of Thursday's blaze that swept through the 52-unit residence du Havre in L'Ilvert. Police initially said that they had 5 confirmed deaths. Frigid temperatures have made search efforts difficult, Lapointe said hours after the fire began. Water used to fight the blaze has frozen into ice, he said, trapping pockets of fire and possibly victims in the collapsed 3-story building.
As surely as dusk follows dawn, that's how predictable was the terrible killer fire that destroyed copyright residence du Havre in the village of L'Ilvert, just east of Rivière d'Arcis du Loup, and an unknown number of its frail and elderly residents. 5 people were confirmed dead, but as many as 30 residents remained unaccounted for and are considered missing, so the number of fatalities will rise. The blaze broke out in the wee hours, about 12:30 am, Thursday, but of course it did. Fires at such places, whatever the preferred term, care occupancies, vulnerable occupancies, private seniors' residences of residential occupancy type, copyright residences pour a registered trademark copyright s, as the French has it, don't always happen at night, but often it seems they do, and it's in these hours that they are at their most devastating. And why is that? It's because that's when such homes have the fewest staff on, that's why. If it wasn't so completely tragic, it would be comic. It's as though the gods, in a particularly cruel moment, determined how best to go about killing the old in Illinois. First build buildings out of what firefighters call combustible materials like wood. Then regulate the hull out of the industry with such a myriad of forms and paperwork that the regulation manages to be inept. There's a Byzantine patchwork of rules, building and fire codes and standards across the country, with the national code that appears to be implemented differently by different provinces and, of course, amended, in order to take into account the distinctiveness of the province of Quebec, as the Quebec Building Code notes. This should ensure that nothing, oversight, regulation, enforcement, works very well. Allow for the fewest staff should be working during the most vulnerable times. And oh yes, never mind about automatic sprinklers, because as the National Fire Protection Association in the United States says unequivocally, NFPA has no record of a fire killing more than 2 people in a completely sprinklered public assembly, educational, institutional or residential building. The gods don't want that, can't have something that just puts out fires on the spot, in the very place where they start.